Hey everyone, welcome back to your favorite HVAC and plumbing podcast, Airing It Out. I'm your host, Robert Madrick, and today we have back on our plumbing manager, Jacob Taylor.
How's it going, guys? Glad to be back.
What's up, Jacob?
Well, not too much. Just hanging out. Overwatch 2 came out last week, so that's been exciting.
Yeah, Overwatch 2. Anyone who plays video games out there, catch us online. You want our gamer tags, let us know. So anyways, Jacob, I wanted to invite you back on because obviously you're the plumbing manager. I'm the outside operations manager, but I used to be the HVAC manager. And I kind of wanted to talk about a subject because we get this question all the time. I actually get stopped at gas stations, the store if I'm wearing my uniform. I'm pretty sure probably you do as well, is just people asking like, oh, you do AC or you do plumbing? How'd you get into that? How can I get into that? So I just kind of wanted to talk about that today. I know you have a little bit of a unique story, different than mine, definitely. So how did you get into plumbing? Kind of tell your story.
So I traveled the country for a little bit, doing some random jobs, some mechanic work for like a conveyor company and stuff like that. I ended up in Orlando, and I was working in a kitchen as a dishwasher.
Okay. At Disney World?
No, wasn't at Disney World. Okay. It was at a fancy Greek restaurant out of all places. And the head chef asked me to be her sous chef. And so I was doing that and realized very quickly working in a Greek restaurant was very intense. They have one volume. It's like up here, you know, and so that didn't work out well for me in the end. And I ended up looking for a job off Craigslist. And I actually did a lot of interviews. I had this nice little hack I used to do where I would apply somewhere and I would flag it as spam so it'd get removed and kind of lower the competition. Okay. You know, kind of just doing what I could to find a good job. And I found a plumbing helper position. Okay. And
what did that entail?
Really, I was just, it was a small mom and pop pretty much. It was a guy, I think he was in like his mid-30s. Okay. Started his own company. He had one other plumber, and then I was the helper. So he was pretty much just starting out. And I started working. My very first day, I was doing a repipe. I was up in the attic in the summer. It was June 2012. Okay. So just over 10 years ago. And I just rode with him and the other plumber for about 4 months.
And you had no experience prior to that, right?
None at all.
None at all. Okay.
But I was very mechanically minded. After 4 months, they threw me in my own truck and they just threw me the wolves. And
you learned to plumb pretty quick when they threw you to the wolves. And you're staring at your customer and you're like, what's wrong?
I actually remember my first call ever by myself. It was a sewer clog. Okay. One of their bathrooms, their back bathroom was clogged and overflowing, both the toilet and the shower. Okay. And I tried snaking down the shower drain and like, this is my first time in the field by myself. Yeah. And I have every drain tool on the truck in this person's bathroom, just spread out everywhere, chaotic, you know, couldn't get this thing cleared. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, well, I talked to the other plumber and he's like, oh, get up on the roof, snake it from the roof. So I took all my equipment up on the roof and I'm snaking in there. I got stuck. And I was sitting there, I'm yanking on the snake. I'm trying to get it out and everything. Nothing was doing it. I called my boss. I'm like, hey man, look, you know, it's my first day. I'm stuck on this roof. You know, can you come help me out, please? And I ended up getting off the roof. I went inside. Turns out my snake went down the vent stack on the roof and came out the toilet and was flailing inside and destroyed the entire bathroom.
Oh, that's fun. Okay.
And so, yeah, my first day by myself caused a lot of mayhem. Yeah. Well, that wasn't supposed to happen. Technically, when you snake down a vent stack, the sewer is supposed to be oriented to where that kind of stuff never happens.
Yeah, so it goes straight down, not into the toilet.
Almost, you know, like hitting the lottery of, you know, what happened out there. But so my boss didn't get too mad at me. He's like, it's happened. It was a rental, but, you know, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But so I worked for him for about 2.5 years. I learned a good amount from him. I just kind of, you know, with the mom and pop shop, you kind of get capped out, right? So I went to explore some other options. I went to a bigger company and company very, very similar to Best, very value centric, you know, company, and more professional. And I worked with them for, I don't know, maybe a year and a half. Okay. And by that time, I was kind of settled in Orlando, going to church, and I I met a guy named Ronnie. Me and him are still very good friends, and he was mainly doing construction plumbing at the time. And I'm like, hey man, look, I've been doing service for a few years now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start a service department. And so I became service manager for his company, and I worked for him for just over 2 years, and became pretty successful, as far as growing it from nothing. We had 4 guys by the end of 2 years.
So you went from the guy having the snake come out of the toilet to the guy who was the guy coming out to help the guy with the snake coming out of the toilet.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And just a matter of 6 years.
Okay.
Pretty much. So,
awesome.
yeah. And I stayed with him for 2 years. And then I decided to travel and eventually found myself here in Vegas, where I'm with Best.
Okay. Yeah. My story is a little bit different than that. So I'll tell you, my story was, I grew up out here, for the most part, from Southern California to start, but I moved out here and was working at a car wash out in Henderson. And I just graduated high school, and everyone's going to college, and I was trying to find a way to pay for it. And I was working at a car wash. I was making okay money at that time, and I knew what I wanted to do, but it just looked like such a long road, such an expensive road. So I was looking for something kind of temporary. And a really good friend of mine, I don't know if you know him, the internal operations manager, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I met him once.
Yeah, he told me, he was like, hey man, I'm going to be going to HVAC school kind of like as a temporary job to make money while I find my career. You should join me. And like a month before class enrolled, I went down there, got signed up, and we did a 9-month technical course through ATI, Advanced Training Institute out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And we did that, and then both of us kind of went our own separate ways. He went to like a new construction company building houses and doing the startups on those, and I actually got my start being a duct cleaner. So I used to clean everyone's ducts. I was the best duct cleaner in Vegas. And then I went on to kind of working on an install, being like a helper. And install is like we had Brendan here, and Brendan's super talented at install, but it's one of those things that just, oh my gosh, it's just backbreaking work. And I kind of got in because of the problem solving. So I kind of wanted to become a technician and had a talk with my boss. They put me into the field as a service tech, and then the rest was history until I got here at Best and became our HVAC manager, then a service director. Now I'm our outside operations manager. So, I've been doing it just over 10 years as well. So kind of similar timeline. So that's kind of how we got into it. He got into it, obviously, no experience. Me, I went to a trade school. Now, for those people at home who are looking to possibly get into HVAC, there's kind of 3 different ways you guys can do this. Option 1 is CSN does offer a course for HVAC. You guys can go do the course, get your degree, and then come out and try to find a job that way. When there's also technical trade school like I did. There's ATI, Advanced Technical Institute. I believe it's a 9-month course, like 720 hours or something like that. They have, last I checked, a morning course and then a night course for those of you who work. You can work around your work schedule. And then there's NTI, National Technical Institute, which is a 3-month course. That one's much quicker, but it's kind of just like enough to introduce you to it, enough to be dangerous, and you still need to be trained. Or you can find a company that trains you like Jacob did, that you kind of come in and you have to go the long way through it. You start as kind of just the helper, grab my tools, you're helping someone on the job, and it's very long, painstaking, but you're being paid. So like kind of pros and cons are college and trade school. I kind of look at them pretty similarly. It's just college is the longer route. I think it's a 2-year degree versus 9 months or 3 months. You pay, get a degree, get some accreditations, get some of your certifications along the way, and then you kind of have a leg up, but you had to dedicate that time, dedicate that money. Or you can come in like some people do, like here at Best, we do train some of our helpers from the ground up on the install side, teach you the right way the first time instead of trying to rewrite habits. Come in here, it's just the longer road. Sometimes you have to start off as that duct cleaner. Duct cleaning is a great job. It's just the entry-level position, right? And then we have our install helpers. Then you can become an installer, a lead, and then kind of whatever else you want to do. Now, I'm not familiar with the plumbing side. What are the paths on the plumbing side here in Vegas? I know you've done some research on it.
Yeah, so there's pretty much 3 ways with us as well. You can join the union. I'm not quite sure the process of like applying to the union, but I do know there's dues to be paid, and there's apprenticeship, and there's contracts that you have to fulfill, minimum contracts time-wise. Locally, we have PHCC, which is Plumbing, Heating, Cooling Contractor Association.
Yep.
They offer practice. PHCC offers apprenticeships for plumbing. I think they do twice a year for apprenticeships, and then they also offer like journeyman classes and master plumbing classes as well.
Okay.
Actually, one of our most recent hires, Chris, he actually goes to PHCC right now to get his journeyman's.
Oh, awesome.
So it is pretty popular around here. It's really the hub of PHCC of Nevada is here in Vegas. So that's good. The third way is to do on-the-job training. We have a plumbing helper right now that's green. We ended up stealing him from the warehouse side and brought him aboard because he was pretty bright.
Okay.
And we're training him to be a plumber. So, and he's working out great. So for me, I feel like it on-the-job training just prepares you for reality. You know, when you're in a class, everything's going to be very controlled. You're going to understand what parts are, but when it comes to troubleshooting and kind of hard diagnostics, you can't beat in the field training or on-hands training. You know,
that's one thing I do gotta say is regardless of which route you guys take. So I did ATI. I did the long technical training. I came out of school thinking I knew everything. I came out and was like, I've got this. Well, if anyone knows me, you know, I definitely have an ego. Came out with that same ego. I've got this. And when I got out here and I actually had to put, you know, like pen to paper, actually put my skills out there, I was like, oh, I still know very little. And it like took years for me. Like I had to grind. Like the first company I worked for did home warranty work, which, you know, home warranties, sometimes their work's not so great, but I was forged by fire by putting in these positions of these units that have been hacked together, like made to work. Maybe not the way that the manufacturer designed it, but it's working. And I have to fix it now and get in there. And so it took me like years of grinding that till like finally, like I remember having certain aha moments here and there and just going, that's how it is. So like, you know, it definitely regardless of which route you go, you're going to need on the job training for the trade, you know, not only with just how do these machines work, how does, you know, sewers, you know, systems that you guys deal with work, but also, you know, there's also the person to person aspect. You're dealing with someone in crisis and you also have to be able to kind of de-escalate a situation like, hey, I understand. No AC, it's July, it's hot, I've got you, you know, that kind of stuff, you know, sometimes doesn't come natural to people and it does take time to kind of, you know, work on that as well. So, okay, awesome. Now with this, if, like you said, PHCC does continuation courses as well, right? So you can continue to get better and better. And so does ATI. They have like a refrigeration course if you wanted to go from residential to commercial refrigeration, stuff like that. So there is more even out. Once you get in it, you can still continue to, you know, broaden your horizons and kind of continue to grow in the industry, right?
Yeah,
okay,
for sure.
Awesome. Okay, so if you guys do have any questions, you guys are looking to get into the trade and you guys want to pick mine or Jacob's brain, leave a comment and we'll get back to you guys as soon as possible. Or, you know, feel free to even call into the office and ask for us. You know, we'll be more than happy to talk to you about it. And we're constantly hiring all the time. So if you guys are looking to get in the trade, experience or not, fill out a resume. You know, we'll take a look at it. We'll see if we have a position open for you and we'll bring you in for an interview. But anyways, Jacob, as closing, I know last time Dan asked you about your favorite way to air it out, but I kind of you said something earlier that kind of brought this to mind was, you know, a very value-centric company like ours. You know, we have our core values. They're right here behind you. What's your favorite core value and why?
To me, it would have to be integrity.
Okay. That's mine too, by the way.
I'm a firm believer in providing customers with honest information so they can come up with an honest decision. And there's never no second guessing, you know. So I preach to my guys, like, you know, at the end of the day, do the right thing. You know, I don't like to push bells and whistles when they're not needed. I like to give people options, you know, if you want upgrades, sure. But, you know, never say like, hey, you know, you need to spend all this money, you know, because it's good for you. It's like, no, let's give them the proper options every time and educate them on the different steps to go about their solution.
Yeah, and then also it's also the same time of like giving them their options, not just the Band-Aid, but giving them everything, so that way they get to choose. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Well, anyways, guys, thank you for joining us. Jacob, thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you guys next week.
Here we go, guys.